Slaptail Squad, assemble.
All right, Slaptail Nation, this is the Slaptail Squad, and we're coming to you with part 2 of our debate. As you know, our candidates, as they enter the stage, President Beaveman and Senator Ronz.
Thank you.
And we are just going to jump right into our questions. As you both know, there is a lot going on in the world, and one of them is school. If you had to do virtual learning as a student, would you be successful? We will start with you, President Beaveman.
Success is defined by the dictionary. That is what my opponent would have you believe, because he doesn't actually know what success is. Would I be successful with virtual learning? Of course. Would I be successful with in-class learning? Of course. Would I be successful by following the Socratic method of questioning things in a contemplative manner? Of course I would. Could I be a Buddhist? Of course. Catholic? A Muslim? No. Could I be Jewish? JC was Jewish. Could I do it? Sure. Would I look good in the little hat? Of course I would. I look good in hats. I look good without hats. Unless you see me from a side profile where my head is shaped like an egg. Otherwise, not too bad. All right. Could I wear a cardigan sweater? I can pull it off. Does it look great? I'm not sure. Does it show my age? Just a little. The gray in my hair pops a little bit more.
Thank you, President Beaveman. Senator Ronz, the same question. If you had to do virtual learning as a student, would you be successful?
Yes, I would, for the simple reason that I understand what success means. I even have a dictionary on my phone to look up that word. But success is defined by the effort that one puts into it, not the one that doesn't put any effort into it. I believe as a teacher and a student at the same time, I have taught virtual classes, right? And what the hell was that? Right? Whoa, settle down, my people, please. So I think that we are, it's, by the way, it's pronounced Socrates, not Socrates, right? Answer that you want is not an answer I'm going to give that's reliant on what people would understand. But yes, I am smart. I could learn. I have worn the yarmulke. That's what it's called, by the way. I've worn different types of hats throughout my entire life. I think I look great in them. And I think you can be anything you want to, as long as you continue to learn.
Thank you, Senator Ronz. Speaking of success, President Beaveman, what is something that you have done that your children should be proud of you for? You have 1 minute to respond.
What my children should be most proud of, in my opinion, is my ability to always put them first. There is a saying that used to circulate back in the day, probably came from the movies, who knows? And it was always this. It was God, family, country. But for me, it's always been family, country. God encompasses all. Whether you believe that God is the God of the Jewish people, of the Muslim people, of the Hindu people, no, not the Amish. That's just not right. I don't know what they're thinking. Anyway, for me, it's always been my family, and I want them to be proud that I've always put them first. Also proud that I've never left the house with no pants on, like Ronz does frequently when he goes to get the mail and wonders why the cops get called on him all the time. But it's okay because he knows someone who's a cop, and it's all right.
Thank you, President Beaveman. Senator Ronz.
Yes.
Wasn't listening.
I was. I
Okay.
thought you were going to ask me another question.
The same question.
Oh, the same question. Understood. I believe that no matter what you believe in, faith in your family and yourself and your community should always come first.
Did he understand the question?
I don't believe so. I'll restate it for you, Senator Ronz.
Thank you.
Senator Ronz, what have you done that your children should be proud of you for?
I think my community advocacy for everybody out there, including ourselves. I think the most proudest moment that they should be proud of is that I'm doing this podcast and helping those out who can't listen to it, get a chance to listen to my voice, right? They get to understand me. They get to see that I do wear pants, even though they can't see it. They get to see that I'm great and my knowledge is fantastic, and that one camouflage uniform does not have to necessarily be defeated by buttons. You get up, you rise up to the occasion and beat everything down. You make it your own. I think that what I'm most proud of is to know that I voted this year, right? In the face of all the turmoil, I voted for my people, right? I voted my conscience, and I did the right thing every day. And I wore pants today. I did.
Thank you, Senator Ronz. On to our next question.
Definitely. Did we tell you you're doing a great job today, Go
Thank
ahead.
you.
Awesome.
If Batman and Superman were to stand toe to toe, face to face for the last duel, who would come out on top? President Beaveman, we will start with you.
Oh man, I just can't wait for this. Oh, I'm telling you. I don't, no matter what it does, the Superman is Superman. He is a superhero. Batman is not a superhero. Batman is a man. But if they went toe to toe and you gave them, even if you, let's say you gave them the same abilities, let's say that you took away Superman's powers and he had to face Batman toe to toe, Batman would beat the ever-loving piss out of Superman. If you gave Batman Superman's powers and Superman kept his powers, Batman would still beat the ever-loving piss out of Superman. And if it was face-to-face, toe-to-toe, and Batman just had to rely on his tech and his thought process and his superior intellect, guess who would win? Batman, motherfuckers! He's already done it. Read the fucking comics. He's kicked his ass before. He'll kick his ass again. Time and time again. He's always going to beat Superman. So fuck you, Superman. Fuck you, motherfucker.
Thank you, President. Thank you, President Beaveman. Senator Ronz, same question.
It's gonna be hard for you, isn't it? Gonna be hard for you to dispute this one, because deep down in your heart, you're gonna say, "God damn, he's right," but I'm gonna have to disagree. Here I go. Let me defend the Blue Boy Scout, even though I hate that motherfucker. Go ahead, Ronz. Go ahead and defend the Blue Boy Scout. It's gonna tear you up inside, but do it. Go ahead.
I believe in freedom of speech, and I believe the president, the Beaveman, should have his right to say whatever he would like.
Fuck Superman.
Even though we know his loyalties actually go to Wakanda, not the American people. Like, what better example do we have than Superman, who came from another planet, right? An alien who grew up and embraced the American dream and lived the American dream. Not only did he get his green card, he became a voice for the people out there, freedom of press, freedom of speech, right? What does Batman do? Batman oppresses everything. Batman's got this high-tech gadgetry. He's got this billion-dollar thing. Does he help the people? No. He lives underground in his parents' basement. Superman moved out, actually moved to Alaska or the Fortress of Solitude to get away from his parents. Sees his parents on occasion. Oh, Batman can do that, right? No, oh my gosh, he's an orphan. Sorry. So much for Father's Day, Mother's Day. Sorry, Batman. Oh my gosh.
Thank you, Senator Ronz. Thank you.
No, I'm not done. I'm not done. I
Senator
think
Ronz.
in the long run, could Superman beat Batman? I think so. He can outwit Batman if he wanted to. He just keeps him around because you know why? He needs those friends, right? Because who lives underground? The Bat people, and they are the voters, and he needs those voters. We both knew that.
Thank you, Senator Ronz. President Beaveman, you have 30 seconds for your response.
Why? Let me ask you this question. If Superman is so fucking great and he can do so goddamn much, why is it that all the people, all the superheroes in the Justice League still bend over backwards to beg Batman to be in the Justice League?
Who do you think has all the funding? Batman has
superpowers.
billions of dollars
He doesn't
in
have any
Wayne Tech
superpowers,
research.
But every goddamn time they're, please, Batman, please be in the Justice League. And Batman's like, fuck that. I don't want to be in the Justice League. I don't have any superpowers. Why do you guys always bug me? And the bottom line is this. Why do they always bug Batman? Because that motherfucker's cool and they all want to be associated with him.
He's got
They all
money to
want
fund them.
President.
He has
Senator
money
Ronz.
to fund them.
Senator
My
Ronz.
gosh,
He
Senator Ronz,
doesn't fund the Justice League, you motherfucker.
he does too.
They don't even know who he is. He's
Yes,
not
they
funding-
do.
He doesn't fund the Justice League.
He does
Senator Ronz.
so.
Senator Ronz, you will have 30 seconds for your response.
Where do you think the satellite came from? It's from Wayne Tech. Do your research. He runs it through an R&D grant. It's a subversive Illuminati crap. We all know that. Wonder Woman comes from another island. She has her own plane. But who do you think fills it up? Aquaman is in the ocean, on top, underneath oil platforms run by Wayne Tech. He has the money. He has the power. Who do you think funds him?
Thank
The
you.
only thing he can't fund is Superman. You know why? Because Superman doesn't need that shit.
Thank
He
you,
gets whatever he
Senator
wants.
Ronz. Thank you, Senator Ronz. President Beaveman, do you think that there is a one superhero who can beat either of these gentlemen?
Yes, Wonder Woman can stand toe to toe with Superman. She could kick the ever loving fucking piss out of him. And why is that? Because Superman thinks that because he's some super powerful being, that he doesn't need to know how to fight. The bottom line is Superman doesn't know how to fight. He depends on his superior strength and his superpowers. You take that away, he gets his ass kicked because all he knows how to do is punch. Wonder Woman is a trained warrior from birth. Birth! She could kick the ever loving piss out of Superman. And there has been times throughout the comic history where Batman has tried to tell Superman, hey, motherfucker, you don't know how to fight. You might want to learn some shit. What happens if your powers are taken away? Oh, that'll never happen. Yeah, it does, you dumb motherfucker. Now, as far as going toe-to-toe with Batman, of course not. Can't go toe-to-toe with Batman. Superior intellect, superior tech. If you gave him both the same powers, he'd kick the ever-loving piss out of Wonder Woman. If you gave her no powers, he'd kick the ever-loving piss out of Wonder Woman. Love Wonder Woman.
Thank you.
Nice rack, but hey.
Thank you, President Beaveman. Senator Ronz.
There is another superhero that I think, another woman superhero that we've overlooked. And by overlooking, we're just relying on the one person. It's Miss Menopause, right? She comes out, she hot flashes, she can freeze everybody out, she can make everybody hot real quick. She has the ability to have an attitude within 30 seconds if you say the wrong thing. What is the wrong thing? We don't know. But piss her off, she'll go total nuclear on you. And we've all been there. We've all seen Miss Menopause out there. She will do that. She comes around at the end stage of most women's lives. And her sidekick, Teen Period, we both know that she comes out and just totally destroys men. And I think these two would never have a chance of defeating them because you don't know when their powers are going to kick in and decimate them. We've seen super strength, super attitude, super bitchiness. Maybe one day they'll learn to back off, but I don't think so anytime soon.
Thank you, Senator Ronz. Senator Ronz, your
Sir.
VP stated in his former debate.
Yes, sir.
Not looking well.
No, it's not.
Butt plugs for 2020. Is this part of your administration's plan? If so, how and why?
Yeah, good one.
That's a good question. And I would say that, does it refer to what we need? We will have to see what the American people say. Like a lot of our policies, we put them out there and they may not apply to the situation at this particular time, or will they ever apply? However, if they are needed, we will apply that butt plug where it's needed, right? And if you want one, we won't limit you into wanting that, right? But you'll have to purchase that on your own without a payment plan. What color? That's entirely up to you. If it's got sparkles or bumps on it, that's entirely up to you. But we will not limit that right now. Right now, we'll keep it as a backdoor policy, opened up. Maybe some will accept it, maybe some won't. So we'll just kind of leave it on the table for right now. So I will have to say, we'll wait and see. You know, We will see if these people are really into it, and if not, we won't force it, but we will have
Thank
to
you,
see.
Senator Ronz. Thank you. President Beaveman, what are your thoughts about butt plugs for 2020?
I would like to just state this from the vice presidential debate. My vice president answered a very tough question, but he answered it logically and said, "You are not voting for the vice president in this election. You were voting for the president." So therefore, he did not stray from the presidential message or what my administration stands for and what you're actually voting for. What we want to know is, was that vice presidential debate, the Ronz's vice presidential candidate, was he speaking for the Ronz or was he speaking for himself? And this is what the Ronz needs to address. What does he stand for? Is he for butt plugs for everyone? Because that is what his VP stated time and time again, yet I have not heard the Ronz state that, but he is the one who initially brought up butt plugs in the past on his so-called podcast that is his platform for spewing all of his ridiculous ideas.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Ronz, you will have 30 seconds for your rebuttal.
I would have to say that it's an open door policy right now, or a backdoor policy, to see if we will continue this line of thinking. It's really up for the American people to decide. I concur with what Senator Schuyler said, that it's, we are the ones running. They're just coming along for the ride. And we both know that if the ride goes bad, it's going to be a very painful issue on butt plugs if they're used wrong. There needs to be a little bit more research into it. However, if we decide to use it, we will see how well it goes for the individuals as a needed basis.
Thank you, Senator Ronz. Remaining on a very serious subject, one of your opponents stated that immigrant children are coming into the U.S. by way of coyotes. Senator Ronz, what are your thoughts on this statement?
Well, coyotes, huh? Those are very, very bad people dogs, right? I would think if you were going to use a dog to come back in on, actually go with the hairless Chihuahua, or maybe a cat, right? Why limit cats? Because they seem to slip underneath the radar. But if they're here illegally, I think they should be deported. Maybe not right away, maybe tomorrow. Whatever coyotes want to do, they can do, but as long as they do it within their own borders. That's about all I have to say at that particular time. But I will further research this when I get a chance to see how bad coyotes are smuggling in people, and if they're taking away jobs from other dogs to smuggle in people.
Thank you, Senator Ronz.
Anytime, Tremonti. By the way, you're doing a great job.
Thank you. President
you're
Beaveman,
welcome. You're so welcome.
your thoughts on the final statement?
On what the Ronz just said?
Yes.
So now I am under the impression that Senator Ronz believes that the use of the word coyote is literal, and that he believes that the animal, the coyote, is smuggling children.
Have you not seen Wile E.
border.
Coyote smuggling dynamite?
He
weapons of
believes
mass destruction?
that
We have
immigrant children are being smuggled into the United States by a small pack animal. That he is literally believing that a coyote is bringing children into the United States. Senator Ronz, do you actually believe that a small pack animal is carrying several immigrant children into our country across the border? Because that's what you just said.
I know I said
if that is the case.
Listen up when I say stuff. You will make a good president one day.
You would
but
rather
probably
have
the Illuminati.
you believe that a transportation by a Chihuahua would be better than a coyote.
I've never seen
Now you're
a Chihuahua smuggling dynamite into a roadrunner's ass.
Two small animals of the canine variety or canine family are smuggling children across the border. Is that what you're saying? Do they have some sort of little saddle that they're fitted with? Possibly a tiny hat. Also,
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Ronz, Senator Ronz, you have 30 seconds for your response.
I apologize for my rude interruptions, but we also know that if we've watched anything about coyotes, they smuggle in dynamite. They try to blow up roadrunners, which are native to the southwestern states of the United States. They destroy the environment. They just basically try and kill and eat and decimate everybody around them. How do we stop this? If they're not only smuggling all these weapons in, setting up fake potholes or fake holes to run into, they're probably smuggling in these children into these fake holes and potholes to hide in. So yes, I think they should be stopped. Right?
Thank you, Senator Ronz.
Oh, anytime, Jamandi. By the way, thank you.
President Beaveman, 30 seconds.
Well, first of all, the Senator Ronz has a completely erroneous idea of what the term coyote means. Second of all, let's give credit where credit is due.
Well, you're welcome.
He is busting on Wile E. Coyote. That coyote was a genius, a brilliant scientific mind, a great artist, and I don't know where he was getting his funding from, but he bought some pretty high-tech stuff.
Wayne
If not, if I could speak, Senator, that would be great. You've had your time. I'm not interrupting you. I'm not bothering you. Let me just tell you that some of the tunnels that Wile E. Coyote painted, they were huge. They were huge. Some of those animals, they were huge. They were huge. And he was able to construct them. He was able to build some very fine traps. And let's face it, in the real world, that Roadrunner, that pesky little cock would have been destroyed long ago by Wile E. Coyote, and I relish the day that he wrings the neck of that obnoxious little fucking bird.
Thank you, Mr. President. When writing the date, some people write the day before the month, and some write the month before the day. Which do you believe is the appropriate way to write the date? President Beaveman, we will start with you.
I believe that what matters most is sparkles. Sparkles and glitter tend to make things in life just a little bit better. Have you ever been having a really hard day and perhaps somebody, if I could speak, apparently there's some sort of cult thing going on with the Ronz. Have you ever had a hard day and seen just a burst of glitter, maybe a rainbow kitten unicorn surrounded by glitter, and thought to yourself, you know what, my day isn't so bad, but what's important is happiness. And how can you be unhappy if you see sparkles and glitter? I don't think you can be. I don't think you can be unhappy if that happens. I think that what's important in life is happiness, and depending on those brilliant ideas out there, like there's a new book out by Matthew McConaughey. I think everybody should read that. All right. I bet it's really good, very philosophical. That should make you happy too, just like a rainbow kitten unicorn surrounded by glitter.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Ronz, same question.
I would say it's whatever the American people want. Could you rephrase the question? And again, could you say that again?
Yes. When writing the date, some people write the day before the month. Some write the month before the day. Which do you believe is the appropriate way to write the date?
Are we going with the Gregorian or Julian calendar?
However you interpret the question, Senator.
I interpret it the way you want me to interpret it, but you need to specify which part of the calendar am I going by. However, since there is a Julian date, a regular date, it depends on the appropriate situation. As far as sparkles and kitties, no, that's not part of the date, unless you're writing those numbers in sparkles and kitty fur or whatever it is that my opponent said that it was. So I prefer to write it in the day that everybody can understand, not just me. Unless I'm taking my own notes, then they're all about me anyway. So I would prefer to use the date that everybody's on. But if they're not on the same page, they will be on the same page as soon as we're done with this debate. They'll come over to me. And, you know, I might even take the idea of my opponents using sparkles, you know, kitties and glitter, right? And say, this is the way we're going to do our writing now.
Thank you, Senator Ronz. If you both could speak to the American men who are married, do they masturbate more or less? We will start with you, Senator Ronz.
I would say that's a hands-on situation to know that fact, right? So we will get down to the nitty-gritty and we'll stroke out this answer pretty good. So when it comes out to it, do they masturbate more? I don't want to give anybody the shaft that they can't handle. So I will say that it really depends on the individual. Do some married men I know that don't need to masturbate because they have sex whenever they desire. Some single guys, however, do not have the same problem, but they require a release of testosterone more often. So to answer your question, and more confusing to the public, I couldn't really answer that. I don't have a grip on the numbers. Some numbers are bigger than the others. Some people have to grasp the situation with both hands, and sometimes it can be just out of their reach. So I honestly say that the answer is needs further study. For me personally, I don't masturbate as much as I need to, but then again, I don't need to. So it's a hand by hand situation it's a hands-on knowledge situation to know.
Thank you, Senator Ronz. President Beaveman.
What I find most important is hydration. The American people need to hydrate more. And hydration is variable based on the body weight and the body type and your requirements and what type of work or exercise you're doing throughout the day. And a basic, very easy formula to use is just to divide your body weight in half, and that number in ounces is how much fluid you should consume per day. Of course, that's going to change with the amount of work that you do throughout the day and your food requirements as well, because you will get some hydration from the food you eat also. It's very important to stay hydrated. It helps perfuse the kidneys, and good kidney function will help you with your longevity throughout your life. If you don't have good kidney function, you're not going to live very long. You're not going to have very supple skin. You're going to wrinkle a lot faster. Clearly, my opponent doesn't drink very many fluids, as evidenced by all the wrinkles that he has. And so, in closing with that question, hydration is key. And
Thank you.
That's very important.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Ronz, you have 30 seconds for your final rebuttal.
Well, hydration is key, but it depends on how often you have a hands-on situation. And do we really need to know that? How many times you do it? Do the stroking? No, we don't. If you're not hydrated enough, I would suggest drink more. That's the simple answer. If you need to masturbate, by all means, do so. But do it in the privacy of your own home, behind a shower curtain maybe, because only you and God knows your sins. Why, thank you.
Thank you, Senator Ronz.
Glitters to you. Sparkles, thank you for being you.
President Beaveman, you have 30 seconds for your final rebuttal.
I think it's important to note that once again, the Ronz has agreed with me about the importance of hydration. It's not about splitting party lines. If you're of the party that Ronz is a member, you don't have to disagree with everything that my party says. And let's face it, you should probably just agree with everything I say over what the Ronz says anyway. So in closing, with that final comment on that question that we had, hydration is key. Don't always hydrate with things like sugary drinks, because sugar is an addictive substance. It's going to kill you, going to make you fat. Don't do it. As you can tell, Ronz consumes a lot of sugar.
I do.
Thank you, President Beaveman. Staying on the subject of speaking to the American men, what are your thoughts when you see a man wearing a belt and suspenders in one ensemble? We'll start with you, Senator Ronz.
I think it's a fashion statement that everybody has a right to wear suspenders and a belt. The Amish do it. The lawyers of old-time movies do it. I think it's a fantastic way to do that. And it helps you keep, if you notice where the suspenders are located, it helps you keep a water bottle right there to stay properly hydrated, that you can do that. Plus, it also adds that nice thwack, or whenever you've got to pull out and make a statement, stick your thumbs behind, kind of pull out and go, in my opinion, and that's what counts, my opinion. Stay hydrated, America. Wear suspenders. Make sure they match, though. And I'm sorry, I was just told to be quiet by the president. And is he getting help on this debate? If so, I want to know why. I have had nothing. I was told not to bring any notes to this, and it seems he has somebody there feeding him the answers. What in God's green America is this?
Thank you, Senator Ronz. People know that there is no one else in the room with.
I heard a door slam. Or was it his Illuminati brethren telling him what to say?
Mr. President, you have the same question.
What do your
What are your
Illuminati
thoughts?
brethren tell you to say?
What are your thoughts when you see a man wearing a belt and suspenders in one ensemble?
This should be good. What are they telling you to say?
The sun is not our enemy. The sun is our friend. People with very little melanin or melanocytes will tell you that the sun,
Melatonin.
you are so wrong. Melatonin is the hormone that is produced while we sleep. Anyway, melanin. That which makes us different skin tones. The sun is not our enemy. The sun is our friend. People who have less melanocytes or melanin activity in their skin will tell
This
you
has nothing to do
that
with the
you
Leonard
need to
Morissette.
wear sunblock all the time. You don't need to wear sunblock all the time. How will you make vitamin D? Vitamin D is a hormone, people. It's not a vitamin. It is utilized by every cell of our body. Every cell of our body has a receptor site for vitamin D. So if you are not getting enough sun, if you believe the lies that people with very few melanocytes are telling you that the sun is the enemy, it's because they cannot be a beautiful bronze color like the rest of
Thank you.
us.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, what are your thoughts about the curtains matching the drapes?
That is not necessary. There is a beautiful variety. Let me go on a limb here. I like bad girls. Let me say that. The more evil a woman looks, the better. If she's got dark hair, some dark lipstick, some dark eyeliner, some eyeshadow, if she's got purple hair, if she's looking like the undead, a demon, I find that very attractive. She does not have to have drapes that match. I do want some a strip down there though. I don't like it completely bare. I think the only people that like it completely bare have some sort of a mental defect, and I would question if they're pedophilic. That's wrong. But the more evil a woman likes, don't give me an angel. I don't want an angel. Unless she's gone bad. And if she has, let's have her sprout some horns. Let's get the dark makeup on.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Ronz, same question. Do you believe that the drapes should match the curtains?
I do believe it in some sense, but if she is suffering from alopecia and the hair is gone, I don't believe.
If she's suffering from what? I'm sorry?
Alopecia.
Alopecia. This
Alopecia.
man does not know what the fuck he's saying, but go ahead. Go ahead, not understanding science. Please go ahead. I'll save that for my rebuttal. Go ahead.
I think we just got your rebuttal. Right? I don't know what to think anymore because you interrupted my train of thought. However, could you rephrase the question again?
Yes. Do you believe that the curtains should match the drapes?
Could I say something real quick?
Sure, why not?
I think that this question is a little bit confusing for the Rons. I just answered it as if I understood the question, but I think what the American people really want to know is, does the carpet match the drapes, not does the curtain match the.
So to answer the question, because I did understand it, that my
I didn't say you didn't. Well, yeah, I did, but it's because you don't understand anything. But go ahead.
So what we have here is a failure to communicate and failure to understand on his part, not ours or the American people. Curtains versus drapes. If everything matches,
No, again, motherfucker, carpet and drapes.
They're two different things. Know your fashion statements. But,
Yeah.
Honestly, it doesn't really matter because he tends to like something with a little bit more evil overtone. I personally don't care. The soul of the woman and the look. I personally, if she's bald and it matches, okay. If she's got purple, it's purple. If it's blue, it's blue. The only thing I don't like is people infringing their will on how something should look on somebody else's body, right? It has to be. Who let him in charge of that damn teleprompter? Really, honestly. So
Thank
honestly,
you, Senator Ronz.
oh yeah, I get in trouble for stating what I think. It's not up to me.
President Beaveman, thank you for the correction. Your final rebuttal for if the carpet should match the drapes.
Not necessary. If we've got some good goth purple and green hair up top, you don't have to have it purple and green below. Can be black, can be red. I don't care. As long as there's something there, it doesn't have to be too much. I prefer the landing strip, or if you want some sort of an arrow pointing down to what I call the stairway to heaven, that would be fine too. But no, it does not have to match. I mean, it would be kind of cool if it did, if you were doing some sort of a Harley Quinn, half black, half blonde, or half red down there also. I'd be fine with that too. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. President. With such companies like Ship, DoorDash, and Grubhub, do you believe that this is making the American people lazy? We'll start with you, Mr. President.
I think that it is safe to say that the American people have become lazier generation by generation. If you want to understand what a true badass is, why don't you go talk with a World War II vet? There's only a few of them left. You got to honor them. You can't call those who lost their lives losers like certain people out there. These men and women fought for our freedoms. And sometimes I fear that they look at us and say, damn, did we do the right thing by winning and stomping the shit out of the Nazis? You did. Thank you for everything you did. I'm sorry that we've become lazy piles of shit. It is my goal in life to make sure that we reverse that trend and we do not become lazy piles of shit. That we do not become those people on that documentary Wall-E, those people living on that ship where they had the robots doing everything for them and they just got carted around by little flying cars, little flying wheelchairs, and they could just barely roll over. That's not what I want for the American people. That's not what I want. That's what the Ronz wants. He's halfway there.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Ronz.
I would disagree, but I would also agree with my opponent that World War II vets deserve the recognition. They went through a lot harder times. Tougher times were tougher back then. The Nazis and the fascism that was behind it, I totally agree with that. However,
what? You totally agree with the Nazis and the fascists?
I agree with what you said.
Did you not just say that? You just said.
I said.
I'm sorry.
I agree with.
Remember
what
that
you said about World War II vets.
He just said that he agrees with the
I
Nazis
did not
and the fascists.
agree with
He
that.
also,
I agree. No, you will let me talk.
He also
You
thinks
will
the
let
hair
me
loss
talk.
is called alopecia. It is alopecia, you dumb motherfucker. He also thinks that melatonin is the same thing as melanin, which is not. What other dumb fucking things are you going to say, motherfucker?
Well, if you'd let me finish.
You got more dumb shit to say?
Yeah.
That's what you're going to say? Go ahead. Go ahead. Who's winning this? I'm going to win this election. Go ahead. Keep helping you win.
And this is how we keep everybody down, by censoring their speech. They will never learn to fight for themselves if other people speak for them. The reason that we went over there and kicked the Nazis' ass is because we wanted to see that everybody got a voice, not just one person. I agree with what the World War II vets is. I agree with my opponent that they're badasses. I believe that we did have gotten soft in some ways, but that's not to say that a lot of us have gotten soft. Let's talk about the vets coming back from Afghanistan. They're badasses too. Did we leave them out? Oh my God, yes, we did. Or were they in the, or would you consider them in the Sparkle Kitty Glitter Brigade? No, I wouldn't. I think they're badasses too. I would think that we've gotten a little bit softer, but we can get tougher if we need to be. When America's down, that's when we get tough. We know how to buckle down and get back to things. In fact, that's what this election is about: getting down and getting back up and fighting. America's been always great. It's now step up to the plate and beat the shit out of anybody that stands in our way.
Thank you, Senator Ronz. President Beaveman, you have 45 seconds for your rebuttal.
Oh yeah, I'd like to hear this, Mr. Smart Guy.
Melatonin and melanin are not the same thing.
Oh, I think we already know that. I think we need to get past that.
Would have you believe that. He would also have you believe that alopecia is alopecia.
I concur.
There are so many things wrong with this stuttering buffoon.
There is nothing wrong with you. I think you're a great individual.
Would you like the top 10 or the whole list of the things that are wrong with this stuttering buffoon?
There is nothing wrong with you as a stuttering buffoon.
He believes that small children cross the border on tiny canines. that
I
are
do.
pack animals and believes that it would be just as effective to smuggle them across the board on a Chihuahua?
I do. No one has
Great.
ever caught a Chihuahua. Wile E. Coyote's been caught several times.
And this man believes that fascists and Nazis are a good thing.
No, I do not.
He is
Let me state
winning
that right now.
by election for me. And he believes
As a person who's
he
worn the
believes-
yarmulke before, I do not
he
believe Nazis and
believes-
fascisms are good.
he believes that the veterans of today are equal to those of World War II. And I got to tell you, that's not true.
They deserve recognition for those coming back from
I did
war
not say that.
tours.
What I said was you believe that they are of the same caliber, and they are not. No matter what you believe.
Thank
It's
you.
one thing to have pride in the American soldiers, American veterans, airmen, Marines, sailors, but they are not of the same caliber of those of World War II.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Ronz, we will just allow 30 seconds for your final rebuttal.
I would agree with my opponent. The wars
Of
back
course
then,
you would.
the wars back then were a lot tougher, right? They didn't have the technology
He
we have
agrees with
today.
my statement that he supports Nazis and fascists.
I do not agree. As someone who wore the yarmulke, I do not agree with that. However, I do believe that we've gotten softer as Americans, but on some note, I think some vets coming back deserve as much recognition for defending the American people and the American way as those from World War II.
Thank you, Senator Ronz.
Oh, any time for you, Chamande. Come on. You're
Thank
doing
you.
a great job.
We have to have a question that speaks about bowel movements.
Do we now?
In a previous debate with your VPs, they answered the following question. Infants are wiped with a moist toilet or wipe of some sort. Why do we stop using them after infancy age? We will start with you, Senator Ronz.
Well, what is the need to use them? I do not want to see more trees, more unenvironmentally friendly stuff go to waste. All right. So I would say that on that note, there would be no need for them. Not that people or parents can't continue using them, but there's no need for them. And why would you, sort of like the stuttering buffoon that we want to call president, is there a need for him? Probably somewhere, but not at this time. So it's time to move on to something a little bit more economically and social friendly and environmentally friendly.
Thank you, Senator Ronz.
Anytime.
President Beaveman.
He keeps making these statements about things that are environmentally friendly. But what suggestion is he really giving? He's not giving any suggestion, not giving a solution. He's not saying how you would do this. He's just giving these pat answers. How would you do that? If you want to have a clean backside, using these moist towelettes or these infant wipes. I'll tell you why. Because we did not flush those down the toilet. Those were thrown away. Once you become older, you would have to do the same thing. None of those are able to be flushed down a toilet. What you really want to do to help the environment is eliminate that problem in the first place. Many of the other nations use a toilet that will have some sort of bidet as well. They don't use toilet paper. They don't use towelettes. That's what we need to do as American people. Avoid and get rid of toilet paper, wipes. Use a bidet. It's cleaner. And let me tell you something. If you've ever used one before, you're going to want one. You can control that water temperature. You can control that pressure. And by God, you start to understand why you would want your butt manipulated just a little bit. Millions of gay men can't be wrong. There is some benefit to having a little bit of stimulation of the rectal and anal tissue. And why not get it and get it cleaned at the same time with a bidet, with a remote control that you can control the water pressure and the warmth of that water.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you. Senator Ronz, you have 30 seconds for your response.
First of all, it's called bidet, not boudet. And anyway, I would say that if you need to have a bidet in your house, how much water are you wasting to clean your rectal area? Do you need that much water? I mean, my God, what the hell are you passing to have that? As far as toilet paper is concerned, What happens if you go to a place that doesn't have a bidet? What are you supposed to do? Excuse me, you don't have a bidet here. I can't use your place, right? What happened to adapt and overcome and being friendly to the
Why are you
environment?
shitting at other people's houses?
When I go to a porta potty, they don't have a bidet. What am I supposed to do? Shit
Why are you
my
shitting in a
pants?
porta potty?
Well, because I'm at a
Why are you shitting
festival.
at a porta potty? What did you do? What? You're one of those. You're one of those people who shits at a porta potty.
Why wouldn't I? I use
I
whatever
bet
is
you
necessary.
sit down on the toilet too, don't you?
Well, I can't shit standing up. Can you?
You put your. Oh, okay.
I thought so. See, he doesn't have an answer. He
Thank
goes
you,
so
Senator
far,
Ronz.
and then he doesn't have an answer for that.
Thank you, Senator Ronz.
And look at the hand go up.
Senator Beaveman, we will give you 30 seconds to
President
I'll
respond.
give him as much time as he needs. He doesn't have a right answer.
This man sits on a porta potty toilet seat. That is disgusting. He is one of those people who will go and shit in a porta potty while you're waiting at a concert. 50 people in line, this motherfucker steps in to shit. Everybody else has got to piss. He's fucking shitting. And he sits down on the toilet seat. That's fucking disgusting. He clearly has swelling on the brain. And he's shitting at other people's houses. He's like, what if you're somewhere and you're shitting and they don't have a bidet? This man clearly shits everywhere he goes. If you come to my house and you shit, we're not friends anymore. What do you shit? Why are you shitting at my house? You can't wait to shit at your own home? Why is it you got to shit everywhere you go? What is wrong with you? And as far as water, how much water are you wasting on a bidet? Think of the trade-off. You use a little bit more water. They're usually low-flow toilets. It's a concentrated, soft stream. You're using less energy by producing less toilet paper, killing fewer trees. And what do trees do? They remove carbon from the atmosphere.
Thank
Use
you.
your head.
Thank you, President Beaveman.
Don't shit at my house. Bottom line, don't shit at my house. Wakanda forever.
And gentlemen, we have come to our last question.
You would
It's
say that for every
inauguration day.
question.
It's inauguration day. You have won the presidency. How would you address the American people, specifically the people who did not vote for you? We will start with you, President Beaveman.
Thank you for electing me president of the United States for my second term. For those of you who didn't vote for me, that's okay, because we're all in this together. It's all about choice. Your candidate didn't win, but I welcome you with open arms. You don't have to be of my party. That's okay. But let's work together to make this country what it needs to be and not suffer the injustices thrust upon us by those who would do our country harm. And let's take care of this earth. It's the only one we got. Don't look to Jupiter. Can't get there anytime soon, even though that's what the candidate who ran against me would have you believe. We don't have flying cars either. Is it something that I'm working on? Yeah, not really. Kind of on the back burner. It's a ridiculous notion. Also, in closing, let me say this to you, who might have been confused by that other candidate. It's pronounced alopecia. And coyotes are not small dogs. It's actually the name given to people, bad people, who smuggle people from other countries into ours, specifically from Mexico. The small children were not brought over by tiny pack animals. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Ronz, same question.
I would have to say those who did not vote for me, thank you for supporting our democracy. Even though you may not agree with what I've said, what I've done in the past, we could possibly come together as a one nation to work together and work towards our indifferences towards each other. Now that I'm in position to help you out, you can help me out, right? I will listen to you about as much as you listen to me. I will get out there and I will march with you all the way to the borders and show you where the door is to let you out. Because if you don't want to be in the country that I'm elected and you said you would leave, I will help you leave. There's no sense in you staying here. There's no sense in you being on my side when you don't want to be here. So Canada, Mexico, Any country you'd like to go to is going to get an influx. However, with our current situation of the quarantine, you're going to have to stay here and deal with me. I'm in charge. Get used to it. Go home, cry about it, then go back to work Monday and be a good citizen. That's all we want. And maybe my opponent, while he did run a good candidacy, will give you some glitters, sparkles, and maybe a damn kitty for your hurt feelings. Right? Maybe I didn't pronounce the words correctly. That's what's learning. We will learn from each other. Maybe I didn't pronounce that Jupiter's a gaseous planet that we can't land on. I know this. However, maybe one day we'll go beyond Jupiter, beyond the stars of what our own galaxy is, and see what's out there. I would like to see what is out there for as we expand our borders, our boundaries, but not limit our minds, unlike my opponent who's already limited his mind.
Thank you, Senator Ronz.
Anytime, Jamande. Thank you again once for hosting this.
No problem. President Beaveman, any final thoughts?
Oh, this should be good.
I would like to say that my candidate did not just mispronounce words. He used entirely wrong words. I would also like to say that it's clear that he's going to lose this candidacy. And that's understandable. He should lose. Why should he lose? He has antiquated thoughts. He believes Nazis and fascists are good. He believes Nazis and fascists are a good thing.
I do not.
He believes that he can relate to the Jewish people because he's worn a yarmulke. He believes he can relate to black people because he knows one. He believes he can relate to Latinos because he's seen one.
My godparents are Latino. Let's go there.
Well, let's go there. He believes that nachos were created in the United States. They weren't. Here's my final thought. My final thought is this. This man is a douche.
Senator Ronz, final thoughts?
Well, this reminds me that the church sandwich over there is trying to tell me, who do you want to vote for, a church sandwich or a douche? Let the American people decide. But it is ultimately up to the American people, and that's where we're going to have to go with this, right? Even though I'm right and he's wrong, let's see if they want 4 more years of wrong. We know this. So hopefully they'll see my way and they'll jump on board with me. If not, I'll go back into and I'll rerun again when the time is appropriate.
Well, there you have it, Slaptail Nation. This is your Slaptail Squad wrapping up our debate.
Wow, very anticlimactic.
Yeah, very anticlimactic.
Insert applause.
Insert applause.
Thank you, Shamandi, for hosting this.
You're welcome. And we can't tell you who to vote for, but only thing we can tell you is get out there and vote.
I would agree. Get out there and vote.
Get out there and vote. If you think that your vote doesn't matter, you're wrong.
You're definitely wrong. Vote. Please get out there. It's your constitution.
I mean, there is some debate about the Electoral College and does it really matter if we win the popular vote or not? But the bottom line is, for those of you who don't vote, remember this. If you keep not voting, someday they're going to decide that we simply don't need to vote, and they're going to take that right away from us. So in that respect, our vote always does matter.
And on a serious note, because the Beaveman and I are ex-military, we defended the Constitution with our lives and our fiber. So do us proud. I don't care who you vote for. Just go out there and vote.
Yeah, well, we do care who you vote for.
We do care who you vote for.
Yeah,
we care a little bit.
We care a little bit. Yeah, we do. And if you listen to this podcast and you feel like it's a Democratic, that this podcast is only supporting Democrats, you would be completely wrong. I will tell you this. I voted for President Trump in the past election. I voted for him for one specific reason. He wasn't Hillary Clinton. That's why I voted for him. I exercised my right to vote because it is my God-given right that I supported and defended, just like the Ronz did. And we want all of you to do the same thing. Vote, because they'll take it away from us if they can. They'll do everything to take away our power. And remember this, politicians are not America. We're America. We decide what happens in America, not them. So it doesn't matter. Does it matter that all you're doing is choosing between two old white guys who don't know their asses from the hole in the ground? Not really. All that matters is that you're picking the one who does not support tyranny. That's what I'm all about. I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican. I am somebody who opposes tyrannical thoughts and tyranny and oppression of the American people. That's what I'm voting for, is ending of all that. And would I like to see a day where we're not just giving two choices of two old white guys? Yes, I would. Is it going to happen anytime soon? Who knows? But right now, there's no way I'm supporting a tyrant, someone who wants to be king. That's not what I'm going to support. And if you stop listening to the Slaptail Squad or the Slaptail Squad because of my thought process, well then, go fuck yourself.
Yep.
But you know what? You're not listening to a podcast of Democrats, at least not me. I'm not a Democrat. But if you don't like it, have someone else listen to it, and maybe they'll like it. And we won't miss you. But again, as always, from me, the Beaveman, you can go fuck yourself. If you want to keep listening, though, go ahead.
And from the Ronz, and please get out there and vote. I've got friends actually I got an old friend running for Congress.
Ronz knows people that votes.
Yeah, I do. I got a friend running for Congress. I think it's a fantastic thing. I think he's running as a libertarian, right? Not Democrat nor Republican, but a libertarian. Good luck to him. I hope he gets to win in his district, but it's up to you. I won't tell you what I am because I want you to decide. I don't want to sway your vote. But if you're going to vote for the Beaveman, remember that's a church sandwich, or me, the douche. Not to be confused with Tremonti saying deuces. Hey.
And I am Baptist.
Amen.
That's how I vote.
Hallelujah.
That's a Baptist vote.
Amen.
All right, well, then I guess that's it from us and the Slaptail Squad. Thank you for listening, and don't forget to vote. And adios, mooch fuckos.
Deuces.
Hey.